The sun hung low in the sky as the airport terminal buzzed with the energy of travelers coming and going. Among the throngs of people, a solitary figure stood out, a weathered Chinese veteran, his shoulders slightly hunched, his eyes scanning the arrivals board with a mixture of hope and trepidation. It had been 10 long years since he had set foot on American soil, and now, as he waited for the arrival of a very special guest, his heart fluttered with anticipation. Donald Trump, the man he had admired from afar, was set to arrive any moment now. The veteran had followed Trump's career closely, drawn to his promises of strength, prosperity, and putting America first. As a veteran himself, he resonated deeply with Trump's commitment to the armed forces and his unwavering patriotism. As he sat alone in the lounge, surrounded by the echoes of his past, the veteran couldn't help but feel a sense of longing for the country he once called home. His thoughts drifted back to a time before the political tumult of recent years, a time when the American dream seemed within reach for those willing to work hard and persevere. He remembered the optimism and sense of opportunity that defined his youth, the belief that anything was possible in the land of opportunity. Suddenly, a ripple of excitement spread through the crowd as Trump's entourage appeared in the distance. Cameras flashed, and people clamored for a glimpse of the president. The veteran's heart raced as he strained to catch sight of the man he had idolized for so long. And then, there he was, tall, confident, unmistakably Donald Trump. The veteran's eyes welled with tears as he watched the president make his way through the crowd, shaking hands and smiling for the cameras. This was it, the moment he had been waiting for. As Trump drew closer, the veteran's emotions threatened to overwhelm him. Memories flooded his mind. The years he had spent serving his country, the sacrifices he had made, the comrades he had lost. And now, after all this time, he was about to come face to face with the leader he admired above all others. Finally, Trump stood before him, his hand outstretched in greeting. The veteran hesitated for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest. Then, with a trembling hand, he reached out and grasped Trump's hand firmly. "It's an honor, sir," he managed to choke out, his voice thick with emotion. Trump smiled warmly, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Thank you," Trump said, his voice filled with sincerity. "Thank you for your service, for your sacrifice, for your unwavering dedication to defending this great nation. You may have been abandoned by those who should have never left you behind, but know that you will never be forgotten by those who truly appreciate the sacrifices you have made." And in that moment, as the veteran looked into Trump's eyes, he knew that all the sacrifices had been worth it. He may have been abandoned by his own country, but here in the land of freedom, he had found a leader who saw him, who valued him, who honored his service. For too long, the veteran had felt overlooked and marginalized by the very country he had sworn to defend. The scars of battle, both physical and emotional, had taken their toll, leaving him feeling adrift in a society that seemed to have little regard for his sacrifices. But in Trump, he had found a champion who was unafraid to speak out on behalf of those who had been forgotten by the political elite. As he reflected on his encounters with Trump, the veteran couldn't help but be struck by the contrast between the man and the media portrayal of him. Despite the caricature of Trump as a divisive and callous figure, the veteran had experienced firsthand his genuine compassion and empathy for those in need. Whether it was visiting wounded soldiers in the hospital or reaching out to families who had lost loved ones in combat, Trump had shown a side of himself that few had seen or appreciated. Memories flooded back to him, memories of his days serving in the U.S. Army. He remembered the intense training, the camaraderie with his fellow soldiers, and the sense of purpose that had driven him forward. But above all, he remembered the battles, the harsh realities of war that had tested his courage and resolve in ways he never thought possible. One battle in particular stood out in his mind, a fierce firefight in the mountains of Afghanistan. It was a brutal conflict, with bullets flying and explosions rocking the earth beneath their feet. But amidst the chaos and confusion, the veteran had found a strength he never knew he had, a strength born from the love of his country and the desire to protect everything he held dear. Serving in the U.S. Army had opened doors to his education and career opportunities that would have been unimaginable back in China. Born into a poor family, he had been able to pursue higher education, furthering his skills and knowledge. The Army had also provided him with valuable training and experience in a variety of fields, setting him up for success in the civilian world after his service was complete. Perhaps the greatest benefit of all was the freedom that serving in the U.S. Army had afforded him. The freedom to live his life according to his own values and beliefs, without fear of persecution or oppression. In China, he had been constrained by the strictures of authoritarian rule, unable to speak his mind or pursue his dreams without risking punishment. But in America, he had found a land of opportunity and liberty, where individuals were free to chart their own course and pursue their own happiness. In the days that followed, the veteran found himself drawn deeper into Trump's inner circle. He attended rallies, shook hands with supporters, and even had the opportunity to speak with the president himself. With each passing moment, his admiration for Trump only grew stronger. As they sat together in the Oval Office, discussing matters of national security and foreign policy, the veteran couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. Here he was, a humble soldier from China, rubbing shoulders with the most powerful man in the world. It was a testament to the American dream, the idea that anyone, no matter their background or circumstances, could rise to greatness through hard work and determination. President Trump, with his characteristic confidence, leaned back in his chair and listened intently as the veteran recounted his experiences on the battlefield and the struggles he faced during the famine. Trump nodded solemnly, his expression a mixture of empathy and resolve. "You've been through hell and back, my friend," Trump said, his voice tinged with admiration. "But you never gave up. That's the mark of a true hero." The veteran nodded gratefully, his eyes reflecting a lifetime of memories and hardships. "Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to be here, to have the opportunity to share my story with you." Trump waved a hand, dismissively. "No, the honor is all mine. People like you are what make this country great." And there was a moment of silence as the weight of Trump's words settled between them. Then, the veteran cleared his throat, his gaze steady as he locked eyes with the president. "Mr. President," he began, his voice steady but filled with sincerity. "I've seen many leaders come and go in my lifetime, but none have shown the kind of dedication and commitment to their country as you have. You've faced opposition from all sides, yet you've never wavered in your pursuit of what's best for America. For that, I believe you'll go down in history as one of the greatest presidents this country has ever seen." Trump's expression softened, a rare moment of humility crossing his features. "I appreciate your kind words, my friend. It means a lot coming from someone like you." The veteran smiled warmly, a sense of camaraderie passing between them. It wasn't just Trump's charisma or his policies that captivated the veteran. It was the genuine connection he felt with the man behind the politics. Despite their vastly different backgrounds, they shared a common bond forged by their love of country and their dedication to its people. As the months turned into years, the veteran's bond with Trump only grew stronger. Together, they worked tirelessly to make America safer, stronger, and more prosperous than ever before. And though their journey was fraught with challenges and obstacles, they faced each one with unwavering resolve. But amid the chaos of politics and power, there was one promise that Trump never forgot, a promise to never abandon those who had served their country with honor and distinction. And when the veteran's health began to fail him, Trump was there by his side, offering support and comfort in his time of need. It was during one of these moments of doubt that a knock sounded at his door, breaking through the silence like a ray of sunlight piercing through the clouds. With a sense of curiosity, the veteran made his way to the door, wondering who could be calling on him at such an hour. To his surprise, standing on his doorstep was none other than President Trump himself, accompanied by a small entourage of aides and security personnel. The veteran's heart skipped a beat at the sight of the president, his mind struggling to comprehend the surrealness of the moment. But Trump wasted no time with formalities, his expression grave yet determined, as he addressed the veteran with unwavering sincerity. "I heard about your situation, son," he said, his voice carrying the weight of genuine concern. "And I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. We take care of our own in this country, especially those who have served with honor and distinction." With those words, Trump made a promise to stand by the veteran in his time of need, to provide whatever assistance was necessary to ensure his well-being. And true to his word, he wasted no time in mobilizing resources, reaching out to medical experts and arranging for the best possible care for the veteran. But perhaps more importantly, Trump offered something that money couldn't buy: his unwavering support and companionship. He visited the veteran regularly, offering words of encouragement and sharing stories of resilience in the face of adversity, proving that even in the darkest of times, the bonds of brotherhood and solidarity would always prevail. This was what Trump has done to Americans. One of the most striking aspects of Trump's presidency was his ability to connect with certain segments of the American population on an emotional level. Supporters often cited his blunt and straightforward communication style as refreshing, especially in contrast to traditional politicians whom they perceived as detached or insincere. Trump's willingness to speak his mind, even if it meant courting controversy, endeared him to many who felt marginalized or ignored by the political establishment. At the same time, Trump's presidency also fueled divisions within the country, exacerbating existing tensions along lines of race, class, and ideology. His inflammatory rhetoric on issues such as immigration and race relations sparked heated debates and contributed to a climate of heightened political polarization. While some praised Trump for speaking out against political correctness and challenging the status quo, others criticized him for fostering a culture of divisiveness and intolerance. Beyond his policies and public statements, Trump's personal interactions with Americans have left a lasting impression on many. Throughout his time in office, Trump made a concerted effort to connect with individuals from diverse backgrounds, whether it was through rallies, social media, or personal visits. His supporters often praised him for his accessibility and willingness to engage directly with ordinary citizens, while his critics questioned the sincerity of his gestures and accused him of using photo ops for political gain. One area where Trump undeniably made an impact was in his approach to the economy. Throughout his presidency, Trump championed policies aimed at stimulating economic growth and creating jobs, including tax cuts, deregulation, and renegotiation of trade deals. While his supporters touted these measures as evidence of his commitment to putting America first, critics argued that they disproportionately benefited the wealthy and exacerbated income inequality. Another key aspect of Trump's legacy is his approach to foreign policy. From his America First agenda to his unorthodox diplomacy style, Trump's approach to international relations was marked by a willingness to challenge long-standing norms and conventions. While some applauded his efforts to reassert American sovereignty and prioritize national interests, others criticized his isolationist tendencies and questioned his commitment to traditional alliances. In addition to his policies and actions as president, Trump's persona as a public figure has also had a significant impact on American culture and society. From his background as a real estate mogul and reality TV star to his larger-than-life personality and penchant for controversy, Trump has been a ubiquitous presence in the media landscape for decades. His unfiltered commentary and propensity for social media have reshaped the way politicians communicate with the public, for better or for worse. Moreover, Trump's presidency coincided with a period of profound social change and upheaval in America. From the #MeToo movement to Black Lives Matter, protests to the COVID-19 pandemic, Trump's tenure in office was defined by a series of unprecedented challenges and crises. His handling of these issues, whether it was his response to the pandemic or his approach to racial justice, elicited passionate reactions from supporters and detractors alike. Looking beyond Trump's presidency, his influence on American society continues to be felt in myriad ways. From the rise of populism and nationalism to the ongoing debates over immigration and identity politics, Trump's legacy is likely to shape the trajectory of American politics for years to come. Whether viewed as a transformative figure who upended the political establishment, or a divisive figure who deepened existing divisions, there is no denying the enduring impact of Trump on the American psyche. At that moment, the Chinese veteran knew that he had found his true home in America. It was a land of opportunity, of freedom, and above all, of hope. And as he closed his eyes for the final time, he did so knowing that he had made a difference, that his sacrifice had not been in vain. For he had lived to see the fulfillment of a promise made by a man named Donald Trump, who had once reached out a hand of friendship to a stranger in need, and forever changed the course of his life. And as the tears flowed freely down his cheeks, the veteran whispered a final thank you to the man who had shown him that anything was possible, even in the darkest of times.